And welcome back to Neutopia. In our last video we conquered the fourth dungeon in the underground sphere and have unlocked the sea sphere. So Jazeta has just walked through the passageway gaining entrance to the sea sphere, and you can see that the water surrounds pretty much the entire place. There's some new enemies in this world, increasingly difficult and also increasingly likely to walk into and cause harm to you. And a first little stairway in here, we find that, an old wise man telling us something we already know. 2 medallions hidden in the world. Find them and we can save the sea world and unlock the sky sphere. So in this video we're going to do a lot of exploring of the sea sphere. We're going to try to find the next crypt and any little goodies along the way. You may have already noticed that there are again different enemy types that appear in this area. For the most part they adhere to the sea theme. I don't really know what these black things are. I don't know if they're anemones or something. But the enemies are increasingly more difficult. The world is a little bit harder to get around. It's a little bit more maze-like. For the most part the enemies still don't do much except just walk around, but there are some enemies that are a little bit more aggressive and either throw objects or run towards you, or both, when you're in their axis. And there's some more fly-type creatures that kind of buzz around in circles. The fire is good about getting them, as always. As long as we keep our fire wand upgraded and have health to support it, it's going to continue to be a really powerful asset. Our shield blocks, as long as we remember to not attack. Our shield does a good job of blocking a lot of the projectiles in this world. Now this guy's mentioning that there's a silver sword hidden in the first labyrinth of this world. That's definitely something we're going to be on the lookout for when we encounter that first labyrinth. We have a long way to go before we get there. Now the little boy in this room foreshadows of a wizard in the halls of the labyrinth that we should use our magical ring to help fight. It mentions that his powers are so strong that even the steel shield cannot protect us. I'm not sure what shield we have now, but if the steel shield can't do it, we at least have that. So we're definitely probably going to want to heed his warning when we encounter him in the dungeon. Okay, here I'm checking for bombs to try to open up this wall, but I don't have any bombs, so I guess I'll just continue on my journey here. I do notice that these trees can be burned so that we can go on both sides of this path, just in case we go down one end and get stuck. It's not a dead end after all. Okay, here we see little bridges that we need the rainbow drop in order to cross. I'm not sure if this is some kind of maze or something, but it's easily enough since we have the item and pretty much need the item in order to get here. It's not that much of a big deal to use the rainbow drops to do this. Just want to be careful not to get attacked when we're on this bridge, since the less energy we have, the weaker our fire wand is. And again, the fire wand is a great weapon to have. Alright, so I've made my way over here. I believe I remember there being something powerful in this, or some kind of power-up in this room. However, again, I don't have any bombs. And it doesn't even look like I can get to this room any other way, because all these little bridges aren't far enough to lead anywhere. So we're going to have to find some bombs before we can go expose that entranceway and find out what's in there. Let's see if we can find some bombs on some of these enemies when we kill them, but so far no luck. It's not likely that flies drop anything useful, so I'll probably just skip fighting them and see if we can find a more powerful enemy that might actually drop something useful. This guy drops some gold, but there's a lot of enemies in here that, well, let's check this room. Oh, there we go. So here's a bomb seller. 4 bombs for 200 gold. Well, got plenty of gold, haven't really needed to buy much of anything throughout this game so far, so let's buy all he has, and that way we'll have more than we need. Alright, clear out the rest of these guys, and then make our way back to that area and see what kind of special treasures they have for us. Now, all the guys have respawned, which is kind of surprising considering we haven't really gone all that far away. But again, this is a later level, so there's probably a different tolerance to that. Make our way across the bridges, getting attacked a lot. Of course, there we pick up some bombs, but now we're at our maximum, but hey, that's alright. There's only 1 or 2 more guys in the way between us and our secret passageway, so let's see if we can get this guy out of the way. And then we'll put the bomb down. And there's our secret door. Entering in, dark room. Let's use our moonbeam moss. Boom. Treasure chest. Excellent. And obtain steel shield. Okay, so this is the steel shield that the little boy was telling us about, which is still not strong enough to fight the wizard or deflect the wizard's powers that are in the labyrinth. So, I mean, we'll take what we can get. It's probably better than what we had, but still not the best. So there's likely at least 1 more shield power up to go. Of course, the guys are dropping all the bombs now, but hey, it's okay. Okay, so I got hit and I'm on to my final 2 containers. My little health alarm starts, my medical alert bracelet starts beeping. Since I'm going back this way to find something that's on a different area of the map, I might as well at least stop in at the old lady's house if I haven't recovered my health and get a free heal up. It just only takes a little extra time to do so, so it's worthwhile. And again, she's off to the left here. We'll just walk back to the first world and talk to the old lady real briefly. I initially decided not to save, but then I realized I just picked up the steel shield, so I might as well save. So I make one more stop with her to get the password and save my game, and then let's continue on back to the sea sphere. I was watching another YouTube video of someone talking about Neutopia, and they were comparing it to The Legend of Zelda. And one thing that really kind of bothered him was, why is Neutopia relying on the password functionality in order to have your save game? And he basically said the Nintendo game, which came out earlier, had a built-in save storage ability, you know, with a battery and everything. And that was built into the cartridge. But the TurboGrafx-16 didn't have cartridges. It had credit card-sized card games that are very, you know, very slim, very simple. There's not a big giant cartridge that could hold a battery and do all this other stuff. So what they did, what the NEC did with the TurboGrafx, is that they released a hardware solution. The TurboGrafx CD player, as well as the Turbo Booster Plus accessory, had built-in memory capabilities, so that you wouldn't have to use your password. You could use what I'm using here is the the file cabinet to actually record a save game file. They probably could have built in a battery into the cards themselves, although technically possible. I don't know if it would be physically possible due to the size of the cards. Again, they're a little thicker than a credit card, but they're that size, and I don't know what the logistics are of putting a battery on there, as opposed to the cost as well. Okay, and this man basically just told us that there's special armor hidden in this labyrinth, which we're actually closer to the second labyrinth at this point. So when we get to the first labyrinth, we know to look for a better sword, and when we get to the second labyrinth, we know to look for a better shield. Better armor. This is what I came here for. This is another secret, that when we clear out all the enemies on that area, we find an empty dark room. Using our Moonbeam Moss, we light it up, and we see that there's just a fireplace. We walk through the fireplace and find this guy, Kareem, or I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but basically he gives us these Falcon shoes, and while also being very fashionable, they make us walk faster. Now, I don't really notice that much of a difference using them, but I'll take what I can get. I don't know if you notice any difference in my speed. I don't notice much difference playing them, but it's not an item that I equip. It's always equipped, so I'll just have to take their word for it that I'm getting a speed boost. And something else that's always kind of bothered me about The Legend of Zelda compared to this game is this game, they actually seem like they got it right, but in The Legend of Zelda, if you look at the 3D perspective, especially in the dungeons, you'll see perspective of all four walls, including the wall closest to you, which kind of gives it an appearance that the land where Link is walking is like further below, and we're looking kind of straight down at it. In this game, you'll notice that the wall closest to us at the bottom of the screen is actually hidden, so you actually have a correct 3D perspective for the most part. The other thing that always is kind of silly with Zelda is that you're looking at him strictly from the side profile, and it's almost like he's lying down, walking along the walls. And this, they've again gotten it more accurate by having the semi-horizontal vertical perspective, so you see the side and top of our main character, as opposed to just always seeing his profile. It just looks more realistic and more correct. So here you'll notice there's a stairway leading up to heaven, basically. And what this is actually is warp between two places on the map. This is actually the very bottom right corner now, and where we originated is the top right corner. So if you need to kind of shortcut from one area to the other end of the map, you can use those kind of skyways or warp passages to do so. I don't really and really use them because they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Again, they're on the right edge of the map, and almost everything in this world takes place either in the middle of the map or on the left side. This guy's just mentioning that Kareem guy who gave us the Falcon shoes, in case we hadn't already found him. It'd be useful to find him, mentioning that he keeps his door locked, so it's going to be a challenge to find him, but we already know that. This guy mentions two strange but nice monks that live in this world, and he asks that if we haven't seen them yet, that we probably do because they'll be helpful to our journey. So we'll have to keep an eye out for them. This might be the first strange monk. He offers that if we pay him $50, he can basically open up an entrance and we can go back and see the old woman and get a password. I don't really want to do that, so I decline, but I think that's the first of the two nice old monks. And here's a healer girl who's gonna fill up our heart containers. So I believe at this point we're really close to the second dungeon, which is probably why we're finding the healer girl here. And this, I believe, is the second monk. Now this one is the guy, Key, that we met before. He gives us the ability to carry 4 extra bombs, so now we have a max of 16, and not only that, he raises the number of bombs that we have in our possession to the maximum, so he actually gave us 5 bombs as well. Placing a bomb here, I'm just going to see if there's something in there, and there is. And it appears to be a healer, so this is so far the second healer that we found in the sea sphere. Entering in this doorway here, let's see what's in here. Looks like a bomb cellar. 4 bombs, 200 gold. Well, we don't need any, but it's good to know he's around. So we're on our way to find the saint to open up the first passage, but along the way we found this little stairway, and in here is a guy. Pleasure to have such a great man enter my house. Take 1,000 gold. Well, this guy just gave us $1,000. So that's pretty generous of him. Again, I don't know what we need the money for, but it's better to have it than not have it. And this doorway, or locked up doorway, is heavily guarded by these 2 red men, fighter, soldier type guys. I believe these are probably Dearth's, like little henchmen or something. And they're guarding this doorway, so if we bomb it, we find a small little labyrinth with some ghost-like creatures in here. We'll take these guys down with our fire. Look like little Pac-Man ghosts or something. And kill him. Opens up the door to the next room. And in here is a long hallway. Again, there's a long hallway. An old man chained to the wall. This is Orion. He's the saint we've been looking for. He's a bit tied up, but maybe now we can help. Dirk locked him up in here because he knows the secrets of the labyrinth. He tells us push the red stone and you'll be on our way. So normally I try to avoid the red stones because they usually have daggers and things come out of them, but this guy's telling us to push it. And we do, and not only does it let us out of this dungeon, but that supposedly unlocks the entrance to the next dungeon, or the first dungeon in this world. We didn't actually go to that dungeon, so I can't say for sure that it was blocked, but I guess I'll just take their word for it that it is. So here we find a group of these little red soldiers. Again, this is why I believe these are Dearth's like henchmen. It's because that ladder there leads to the first crypt of this world. I believe if we had come here without first seeing that old man, that those stairs would just be a wall and we wouldn't be able to get up there. I'm not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure it seems to make sense, at least what they've been telling us. Inside this doorway is a man. I don't think he does anything for us. Whatever. So I'll show you, this is the first dungeon. This is where we're going to go soon. But before I do that, I want to find a healer and a safe spot. So I'm getting hurt pretty badly by some flies. I want to bomb this doorway here and see if the door opens up. And inside we find a medicine cellar. Now we can just as easily buy for $400, use our potion, get to max health, pay $400, and you know, be at the same position. But there is a third healer nearby. And actually we've walked past it a number of times, we just never went in there. So why pay for something when you can get it free? We're just going to backtrack a little bit more and find the free healer. By burning that little tree in the corner, there's a stairway, it leads down to, this is the third healer. So she's going to bring us up to full strength. And now let's just head back towards the first dungeon and hit the save spot. And that'll wrap it up for this video. So in this video, again, we explored most of the third world. There's not that much that I haven't gone in here. There's a few rooms, but nothing important anyway. And in the next video, what we'll do is we'll get into that dungeon and see if we can find some of the mystical armor. So in the meantime, smell you later.